I'm going to record this as this always fails.
Really?
That's the first time I've heard Famia speak.
As far as I know,
Oh,
Famia's
Famous
just
is
been
here.
dead in the AFK room for like 3 weeks.
Ever since I've been involved with Tmw, he's been AFK.
Oh.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing at least once, always on the TeamSpeak server, even though he's
Yes,
always
yes.
User joined your channel.
Hello, Show.
Show who?
Show's got no talk power.
Thank God.
Shows just.
I
bitch.
can't give talk power.
No,
No, you
shows.
just gonna have to stay like that,
Damn it,
Show.
man.
He doesn't like to talk anyway, so.
Yeah, maybe it's not so bad.
You're allowed to write something, so go ahead.
Type away.
I'm expecting that something like "fuck you all, you little asses."
Really? I think
Yeah, you
only
have to wait a
Dr.
few
Wasteland
minutes
can
till
grant
Dr.
talk power.
Wasteland is back.
Hey guys, just want to say hi.
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 Good talk.
Hi.
Nice meeting you all.
Nice meeting you.
It's 2 a.m. here in Austria. I'm
Yeah,
a bit
it is.
Germany too.
It's 8 here.
1 AM. Carol, how old are you?
32.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
I am.
No, you're not.
What do you mean no, I'm not?
I don't believe you.
beat you, mate. I'm 33.
Oh.
Oh, how old are you? How old is everybody starting from the top? How old's Dr. Wasteland?
I don't know.
Okay.
Nobody knows.
23 is
15.
Joe?
Oh, he's
Well,
like
I'm 12.
900 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
exit.
Joe, that's pushing it. You're like 11 and a half.
You're only young once, you can be immature, however, forever.
Alright, as promised, it is 5:05. I am back. I'm gonna start pulling out talk power now. Is there another moderator in here who can help me revoke?
Moderators don't have talk, revoke
Ha.
power stuff, so.
And we don't have any admins in here.
No. Because Sarge didn't want to give us that.
I used to have that ability, but no longer. That's fine. Oh, I'm bitter.
Doc, are we gonna keep priority or talk power here?
No.
Talk power
All right, no
revoked.
problem.
I'll be
No
giving
problem.
talk power out.
Okay.
Hockey Guy, as the closest thing to a member of the admin team that we currently have, can you take notes for us? And let me just drop this, the notes I already have into the file browser. Give me 1 second. We can just use those. Alright, so everyone check by right-clicking on TMW Conference Room.
User joined your channel.
Click Open File Browser. Yeah, if there's somebody up there, guys, who needs assistance, please feel free to leave the meeting and go and help them. There's no need for... Yeah, there's no reason for anyone to have to stay here. And there's another meeting tomorrow, too. Okay? That's why we do this, so that we don't have to, we can get as many people as possible to come to the meeting. Oh, first of all, I do want to say thank you all for coming to the meeting. So we got Famous recording it. Hockey Guy's going to take some notes.
File transfer
and
complete.
he's going to use the thing that I created. Okay. All right. Gotcha. So, like I said, everyone right-click TMW Conference Room, left-click Open File Browser, and then you can download the meeting notes, and I will just be going pretty much down those. I'll be adding in little things here. This is pretty much my thoughts. I'm just going to jump right in, okay? I want to make this meeting as short as I possibly can. So, new recruitment. Some of you guys know I've been wanting to change our recruitment policy for a little while. It's just we haven't been getting. No, I shouldn't say that. What I should say is that I think even some people who have recently gone through the recruitment process will tell you that it's a little too easy. And I want to make sure that we're getting people that really belong in TMW and really mesh well with our community. So that's sort of the goal. Now, anyone who's already started the process of joining TMW, you're good. If you've already started the process, you're okay. I will let you know exactly when these changes go into effect. Okay, there'll be threads about it and everything like that. We need to get things sort of finalized. So, all right. So. Once by the way, I'm not going to be reading what you guys are typing yet. I'll ask for questions when I get to a new topic or at the end of this topic. So, like this says, we're not finalized yet, so this is not official. This isn't our policy yet, but this is what I think our policy is going to become. So, in order to join, you're going to need to find a sponsor, okay? So, in order for a sponsor to sponsor a new member, 3 people have to agree. The sponsor, the new member, and the TMW recruiter, okay? So a recruiter's job is to help people join TMW. It's very, very simple. They might contact you and they might say, hey, I want you to meet this guy. And if they do that, it's probably because they think that you two would get along well, okay? They might also, if you come to a recruiter and you say, well, I want to sponsor this person, they might say, okay, look, you've sponsored 3 people in the last 3 months. This guy's never sponsored anybody, and he really, really wants to sponsor this guy. That kind of thing. Now, I just thought this up, and Hockey Guy, if you could please add this in as a note. Perhaps we need to think about whether or not established friends should be allowed to sponsor one another. So, like, if my roommate were to join TMW, I don't think that I should be allowed to sponsor him because it means he's not really getting out there. So I think that's something I'm going to consider. Yeah, we haven't talked a ton about it, Nico. I think so. I think so. If you still want that, I'm still good with that. All right. So serial killer is definitely going to be on our recruitment team. Then it's going to be one of our recruiters. And Nico, we'll talk about, guys, for any of you who don't know, this is Serial Killer. He's been around for forever. Used to go by Nico. But Nico, we'll talk later about some of the bumps I'm having in recruitment. Okay. Let's see. What else do we got here? Okay, so becoming a sponsor. You can choose to sponsor a new member at any time. You only need the consent of the new member and the recruiter, okay? You're not allowed to sponsor more than 1 person at a time, okay? Please don't try. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. As a sponsor, when you're sponsoring someone, you should try to... Oh, that's in duties. Okay, I'm sorry. Becoming a sponsor. Sponsoring takes about 2 weeks, at least I think, right now. At the end of the 2 weeks, you basically get to make the decision. Okay, so you say yes or you say no. Okay. My feeling is if you get to 2 weeks, you're probably going to say yes. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to say no if you get to 1 week and then you go to the recruiter and you go, dude, I just can't do this anymore. This guy isn't right. You know what I mean? Like, that's how it's probably going to work out. So, the recruiter's job is the recruiter's going to do a lot of stuff on like the back end, like make sure that they're in the system properly and that they're on the website and everything like that. Your job is just to make sure that you're a good sponsor, and I'll get into what a good sponsor does in a minute. The recruiter is also probably going to have a small test at the end. You guys will have plenty of time to prepare for it, and none of it will come as any surprise. Basically, you're also going to be working with the recruiter to like sign your new member up for like classes and stuff that that they're supposed to take. And there's probably just going to be one class that they need to take and not... Actually, I'm sorry, Joe, can I give you talk power really quick? And you can just, since I sort of stumbled into your territory, can you take up the reins here really quick? How many we are going to have just one class for new members to take, right? That covers everything a new member needs to know.
Correct. It's not going to get into the specifics about being a bodyguard, medic, SNL, or anything else, but it will cover the basics of being a TMW member.
Right, and it'll even cover things like being on the forums and using the website and stuff.
TeamSpeak, the whole shooting match. Yep.
Right. Cool.
You have to call me sir, for example. All the little things that are important. Yeah.
Right. That's a good point, sir. Joe, anything else about the class thing?
No, not that I can think of. For the most part, it's just going to be a conversation on TeamSpeak. There's not going to be a whole lot of need to get into the practice server or do any scenarios or anything of that nature. It's just to make sure that they understand the obligations and the responsibilities and some of the privileges of being a TMW member.
Okay, awesome. All right, Joe, I'm going to revoke your power now. So anyone who has a question or a suggestion for that initial class, please feel free to let Joe know. Let me just see. All right, so duties as a sponsor, and guys, I'm sure people have some questions, and I'll take them in just 1 second. But duties as a sponsor, when you agree to sponsor a new member, you're essentially agreeing to promise the following: you're going to introduce that person around, so that means not just your clique, take them around, get them introduced to people, do it in a way that's not like, prying or intrusive. Just, you guys know how to do it. You want to integrate them and you want to make them feel very welcome in the community. For instance, you might want to introduce them to me. I would love to meet them, and a lot of times I don't get to meet new people, so that would also be good. You should play with the new member very frequently, and you should make sure that their skills are up to par with TMW, and especially their job, okay? So, like, a bodyguard should be able to shoot pretty well. It's not so essential for a medic, but a bodyguard should be able to shoot pretty well. As a sponsor, and C is probably your most important, job. You want to give them your unique original perspective and insight. Okay, so here's where I'm really asking you guys as sponsors to make to really embrace the fact that I'm wanting you to make decisions. You know what I mean? I want you to embrace the idea that I celebrate your individuality. Okay, so really, don't feel like you have to give them only TMW's perspective. Give them TMW's perspective, but also give them your unique perspective, so that they know on a personal level, about the community. I think that's more important. Okay, so, and then D, work with the recruiter to shape the best TMW member possible. So yeah, this is where we get into stuff like helping them schedule classes, things like that, and making sure that they actually go, which I'm sure Joe will enjoy, things like that. Okay, so here are the ideal sponsor new member relationships. Okay, in my mind, I see these as good pairings: a medic and a medic, a medic and a bodyguard and a bodyguard, a bodyguard and a medic, or a supply and logistics person and a supply and logistics person. Now, the reason I say a medic shouldn't really be teaching somebody from SNL how to do their job is because they don't know. Okay, just frankly, they don't know how to do that job. And soon we're going to start having meetings, particularly I want to start meeting with supply and logistics people. I'll get to that later. But so that there will be things that, like, you know, somebody in supply and logistics will know how to do that job better than a medic. You know, things like that. If you are teaching someone who's not doing your job, like a medic teaching a bodyguard, or a bodyguard, you know, working with a medic, at some point you really ought to have that new member meet with, you know, an established TMW person who's doing that job, so they go over some finer points. Supply and logistics is just a little too foreign, I think, for people outside of SNL to be sponsoring. Okay, so we're now at the end of sponsoring. Can I ask a question, and then I will open the floor to your questions? My question is, can you just say, like, yes, if sponsoring is something you might do at some point, if the right person comes along that you would like to sponsor? Okay. That's enough yeses for me. That's definitely enough yeses. Okay, good. And I think that this is going to be a move in the right direction. And really, I think for new people, it'll really help you, like, get to know the people around. So, questions. And I'll just go through them in the order that they are written. Oh, I'm sorry. To do the best thing, what I would say is, let's just say, like, okay, if I have a question about one, whatever. No, we won't do that. It always degenerates anyway. All right, Kitschy, wait, let me give you talk power here. What are you talking about?
Yeah, thank you very much. No, it's just it's nothing really. It's just I wanted to say if anyone German's coming along, and I'd really like to help anyone out, being German. It's not
So who's
yeah,
going
it's not
nuts.
really much. I know. It's just you know, if it's lots easier if someone's German. We've had a patient earlier being from Belgium, and it was a lot of fun with Greekane, and there are a lot of patients around, and there are lots of players around from Germany, and if we've got the power to and the people to do this with lots of German people around, and you know.
Right. Yeah, it seems like we might have a nice sub-community of Germans.
Yeah, that's true.
I noticed the other day, on an unrelated note, I was Googling myself, as I tend to do when I'm sad and lonely. And I discovered that Ars Technica article about me had been translated into German. I was pretty interested in that. That was pretty cool. All right, so it doesn't seem like anyone else has any questions. I'm gonna revoke this talk power here. Oh shit, Shohu wanted to talk. One sec. Go ahead, Shohu.
Yeah, no problem. I were about to I were about to talk with Seven about going to be a mentor, because if some pupils or students will come from Germany, I think and they don't speak so good English, I think that could be better if I can talk with them in German. So that would my the argument I would have here. 999.
I'm not really sure I understand. What are you saying, Shohu?
Yeah, I'm just I wanted to be of the mentors. I don't know of knew that, but I wanted to become a mentor because then I can talk with the students if they are not so good in the English language. I can talk with them German, or I can translate like Kishi said.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Okay, so Joe's gonna keep that one in mind, right? Joe, here, Joe, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great idea. We could certainly use that. And you know, if we can find some people who are willing to do that, such as yourself, we'd be more than happy to do that. We may have to do a little bit of translating ourselves at certain times, but we'd be more than happy to take a look at that. You bet.
Yeah, and another thing is that I saw like maybe Joe can remember with Sabus or Sabus. They were a little I don't know, misunderstanding because all mentors had no time for him for playing with him the training.
Well, let's not get in that specific instance. We did everything we could. Seven got in touch with him, Ninja got in touch with him, and the only times that he had available were times that were like midnight, Seven's time, which isn't going to work for anybody, North American or UK. Now, if he can come up with a time that'll work reasonably for either a UK-based trainer or an American or North American trainer, we'd be more than happy to do that. But he put some rather restrictive rules in place about when we could contact him. And so the only point I was making there is when you want to come in and work with us, we'll be happy to work with you. But we can't be expected to, get up at 2 a.m. to train somebody.
Yeah.
No. All right. Well, let's transition away because this is becoming a little bit of a conversation that is different than where we are. This meeting is a little bit about announcing things.
I agree.
Let me
Okay.
revoke. All right. Yeah, I know, and thank you guys so much. Really, I do thank you for being here, and
User
I try
in your
not
channel
to.
timed out.
Sorry, I try not to schedule these meetings unless it's actually we actually have something to show you. So we're talk about. So is Joker here? Okay, then we're just gonna skip trading. Basically, just to let you guys know what Joker's up to, he's putting together a he's putting together a spreadsheet essentially of all the equipment and its price corresponding to its rarity. So
User joined your channel.
it's pretty self-explanatory, I think. Like 30 bullets for 2 cans of beans, that kind of thing, so that we can set up a economy. This is all geared, and for anyone who's not who doesn't know this is all geared towards TMW's goal of rebuilding society in DayZ standalone. So let me segue from trading and talk about outposts. Now, is Farrell here? Yes, Farrell is here. All right, Farrell. Let her rip. Let's talk about outposts. What do you got for us?
Okay. Well, the Outpost project is basically about us having a look at the map and seeing if we can identify suitable locations with a view to maybe setting up some kind of permanent outposts when the standalone arrives, and also to look at the idea of setting up temporary outposts in different locations. So, for example, churches were mentioned, and we've got a list of locations around the map that we're looking at. We've already looked at Green Mountain, and we've had a go at fortifying that, so that's available for anyone to go and see. Just to give you an idea of what we're talking about. That's it really for the time being. Obviously, because the standalone's a bit of an unknown quantity, and we're not sure exactly how the mechanics are going to work when it comes to building, it's there's limits to what we can actually do in preparation for that. But at least having a look at the map and testing these locations will definitely give us some kind of understanding of the terrain, etc., which might help. I'd just like to say also a big thank you to Shohu, and also Twitchy Trigger and Hair John, who helped quite a lot the other day. Shohu in particular has been really helpful with this.
Yeah, it's a really exciting project. The goal is, well, what I'll do now is let me just go through my notes now. So the goal is my goal is within 2 months of DayZ Standalone's release for TMW to have a presence on at least 5 servers, okay? So does this mean that TMW won't have its own server in Standalone? No, we'll probably have our own server. It'll just be one of the 5 that we have a presence on. So what does a presence mean? What do I mean by presence? So I want to establish and maintain, without much maintenance, an outpost in the exact same location on every server that we have a presence on. Okay? So let's just say that, well, what Farrell is and the team that's working with Farrell, what they're doing right now is they're trying to figure out which location to put that outpost in. Okay? So the goal is to have it in the exact same place so that you can go on any one of those 5 servers and you already know where everything is. And it's the same outpost. It has the same layout. So we'll also be looking for, you know, that's once Farrell's team figures out where to put the outpost, they'll be figuring out how to configure the outpost. You know, like once we figure out what tools we have available to us in standalone and everything like that. Now, we are going to obviously continue rescue and mentoring operations. Okay, that's never going to stop. This is just new things that we're doing. We're becoming broader. Okay, our definition is becoming a little more loose. So we're going to have, you know, I foresee a few new jobs being created out of this. Not a lot, probably just something very, very simple. Something like, you know, having to do with building. If there is truly as much building in standalone as we've sort of been led to believe. Anyway, that's all later. You know, we're going to work with server admins in order to make a win-win situation. They get, you know, medical services on their server, and we get a server, you know, basically. We're going to regard servers as territories. Where that's really important is regarding servers as different territories. Okay, if you think about it as just expanding our influence to different territories, sort of how I think of it. Our outposts will be open to the public, so that's the reason they're there. They're not going to be closed. They're not TMW bases. They're like sanctuaries. Okay, they're outposts. So we're hoping to create a place where society exists. Our goal is to make this work without having to ask people to man the wall or anything like that. Okay. Maybe. Okay. Who's spamming? Oh, it's different people. Sorry. Let me just read through this. Oh, okay. So we'll talk about hostile takeovers. OS Medic. Yeah, we got all these. Okay, so yeah, like what I would love to have like a starting player's kit, you know, or something like that. It gives people like a double barrel shotgun or a Winchester or something like that, you know, and some beans, just something to get people started. So the goal is to, I don't know, it's just that's the outpost idea. So let me, before I transition to number 4, let me again ask a question and then take questions. So my question is, if TMW had outposts and you were not required to spend time in them or anything like that, would you voluntarily go and just hang around with people? Okay. All right, so let's just do this. All right, good. All right, that's good. That's good. So, questions now. Yeah, like an outpost. I'm encouraging us to think of them as not cities, but parks. Okay, so it's kind of everyone's job to keep a park beautiful, right? You know, like if you see trash floating around, you know, through an otherwise pretty park, you're probably going to throw it in a trash can if it's right next to you. I'd like to see the outposts in the same way. Okay, so if they get attacked, part of Farrell's job. No, Farrell, answer the question.
Well, if they get attacked, then the idea is to try and defend it. I think we have to deal with situations like as and when they arise.
And part of,
I mean, hopefully we'll be able to design and build an environment that will kind of defend itself to a certain extent and limit the ways it'll be open to attack. That's hopefully what we're trying to do right now with the experiments that we're doing with the project on the private server. But like I say, without really knowing any more about the standalone, it's really difficult to answer that properly.
It is, yeah. And so what Farrell's team is doing is they're looking at, you know, they're critiquing locations based upon, oh God, I'm going to do this, criteria. God, never again will I put those two words in the same sentence. But anyway, they're critiquing based on criteria, and two of those criteria are how well can it be defended, and how well can you launch offensive operations from that outpost. So, yeah, outposts are only going to be in the standalone. We're just preparing right now. The other reason that we're having outposts in medics, listen up, is because it's very possible that they're going to force us to have situations where you need more than one medic and you need a sterile room. You know, like we're gonna have to build a hospital. I'm telling you that right now. So an outpost is a great place to do it, and it's sort of how we're going to start doing this. It's also just going to be a great place for people to be social, or for people to trade, you know, or anything like that. That's the goal of the outpost. Okay, and let me see. To further answer the question of if they get attacked, the last thing I'll say about it is I'm hoping that everyone will sort of see themselves as part of the militia. And if shots start getting fired from outside, you know, everyone just sort of knows. Like, I would like word of mouth people to just tell people what to do if there's an attack. And hopefully everyone will turn and point their scary guns out into, you know, off the walls or something like that. Yeah, yeah. And these are all conversations that we can have. Like, I don't know. I really don't know. And so we'll figure out. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of challenges. Oh God, I hadn't even thought about that, Farrell. Okay. All right, I'm revoking talk power and moving on to the next topic here. Okay, so department changes. Okay, I'm like reading this. Kitschy needs to be resupplied. So can somebody in supply get with Kitschy after the meeting or talk to him about that? Oh, Kitschy. Oh, I'm sorry. Kitschy has supplies that he wants to. Okay. Right, gotcha. So if anyone's interested from Supply and Logistics, could you just talk to him, please? Could have something like that, Twitchy, definitely. Yeah, these are all, like, it's confusing, right? It's really confusing how to do it, but I think that here's what I'll say. If you feel strongly about something in regards to the outpost idea, join Farrell's team, because those are the people I'll be consulting with. Alright. So, department changes. So, now that we've talked about the idea of us setting up outposts in territories, I'd like to now impose on you the idea of each territory having a territory leader. And that won't be their name, they'll have some other name. But their job is just basically to do things like, well, it's really just organization, honestly. So it's things like setting up a temporary field hospital out, you know, on the coast one day, or in Cherno one day, or whatever. It's things like that. Just managing the territory, TMW's presence in the territory. Okay, and we'll have meetings with leaders and stuff. I don't really have that idea well fleshed out enough yet to start taking applications for leaders. So please don't start sending those in, because it's not really, I don't really know what I want yet. Anyway, job meetings. This is actually a really important point, and I think particularly people in supply and logistics, I think you guys are going to enjoy this. I want to start having meetings of just one specific job. Okay, so just supply and logistics, or just medics, or just bodyguards. And the reason is because I want everyone to start thinking about how to best prepare themselves to do their job in standalone. What ways is standalone going to change how you do your job? Things like supply and logistics people. I think you guys are going to see an explosion in how many people need you, because I think loot is just going to be so rare. So, it's just, there's a lot of things we need to talk about, and that's why I want to start having these meetings. So just pay attention, pay attention to the calendar, things like that, so that you know when these meetings are going to happen. So I want to talk about commercials, and let's see. Brukane and Shohu, you guys were the ones who made the images on the forums, correct? In the gallery section? Shohu,
User
you made...
disconnected from your channel.
Yeah, I think like 4, and Brukane... Yeah, okay. So
User joined your channel.
I uploaded my critiques of them. You can, that's a give or take kind of thing, I would say. I tend to be sort of brutal because I deal with creative people a lot, and I'm sorry. I hope it. Just to understand, I don't mean anything bad if that's the way it sounds. It's just that's when I'm working. That's typically my tone of voice when I'm working. So let's see. But the reason I wanted to talk about commercials is because, and especially those images, is because if you have some criticism or some critiques of those images, please feel free to leave that critique. I think both Shohu and Brukane would like to see some people talking about their images, because they could definitely use a lot of work to be refined and stuff. But ideally, that's where TMW's advertising images are going to be coming from essentially that thread. So talk about it. Let's get a conversation going. Let's try and make those images something that we can really be proud of. Okay, and I put some things on there, some things that I'll need to work on, just to give you guys a clear understanding of what I'm looking for our advertising. So stand by for more information from me in the next couple of days. Okay. Now, this is also kind of a call to arms for commercials. I want to do 2 actual video commercials that will be posted on YouTube. There's the breakdown of each of them. If you are interested in joining one of them, let me know. There's stuff we've wanted to do for a long time, and they're really funny. The goal is to the goal is to make them funny. Later on, maybe we'll do some more serious ones, but for now, we're going to go with funny. I think that's the best way to start off. So just read over those. If you have any questions about those, you can ask me. And then last thing I want to talk about is profiles, and then we're pretty much done. Have a little bit left with Joe after that, and that's a ninja who's not on right now. That's fine, Joe can talk about it. So the admin team, I asked the admin team to make it so that we can put more information into our profiles, and they have graciously done that. And then Akira wants to talk about events as well. But please take a moment to add things on the website on your profile that you feel comfortable sharing. Off the top of my head, I can think birthday, but honestly, you know, one of the things the hockey guy is going to be doing as our event coordinator is talking to people and going like, "Do you want us to celebrate your birthday at an event or something like that?" And so, if you want to have that conversation with the hockey guy, then go ahead and put your birthday out there. Okay. But if you don't want people to celebrate your birthday, then I wouldn't put your birthday out there. You know what I mean? If that would feel weird to me. So marksmanship training. Let me go to Joe. I'm sorry, Joe. Before you start, is there any questions about anything we've talked about so far since last time I asked for questions? Awesome. All right, Joe, go ahead.
There's cake? Cool. Yeah, but basically we've got one new course that's baked and another one that is in the oven, I suppose you could put it that way. The marksmanship training is being done by Not So Ninja, and he's given me an outline and run through a few pieces of it. Looks really good. And the idea behind it is just to make players, new players primarily, but really anybody, familiar with some of the aspects of DayZ that involve marksmanship. You know, dealing with like a Lee Enfield or a CZ550, shooting at various ranges, shooting under different circumstances. And the idea behind it is just to make sure that, well, for example, our bodyguards know how to shoot. Kind of a nice thing to know. Medics may, under certain circumstances, need to know how to do that too. We still obviously are following the TMW ROE. Our rules of engagement are very clear, and we are certainly not violating those in any way, shape, or form. But there are situations where you will have to open fire, and this just gives you a really good idea of how to do it. May I say, I've gone through portions of the course myself. I was very impressed. Learned a lot of things I didn't know, which doesn't mean that I knew a whole lot to start with, because you know my rule on PvP has always been run away, run away. But it really is a very good little course, and I think y'all all will enjoy that. So if you've got any interest in doing the marksmanship training, by all means go to the training request section and post a request on there for the marksmanship training, and we'll be happy to provide that for you. The other piece of training that we're working on is with Serial Killer, and he's putting together a little bit more advanced PvP training. Again, the concept is real simple. Our ROE is something that is kind of sacrosanct at this point, and it boils down to, in most cases, we don't shoot first. When you get right down to it, that's basically our rule. And Doug, I'll let you handle that in a moment then. But you know, with that in mind, there are situations where you will have PvP encounters, and I know that Nico, Serial Killer, is working on that, and as soon as we can get an outline put together, we'll make that available to everyone as well. Beyond that, we've got our standard Chernaris 101, our medic training, the bodyguard training, our basic PvP training, which is not to be confused with what Nico's working on, and the supply and logistics training as well. And each one of those, with the exception of the PvP training, will count toward a vouch for that particular role that you're playing. Again, if you're interested in that, just post a request on the training request forum, and we'll be happy to get that going for you. Anything I missed on that, Doug, that you can think of?
I would. Vouchers will count up until we change to the new recruitment. Okay. So, there'll be a clear line. Okay, for everybody, there'll be a very clear line of when we're transitioning to the new recruitment. Just be prepared. Okay.
No, Roger. Okay.
And since I'm talking about recruitment, that's one of those things that as a sponsor, you need to make a decision on. You know what I mean? Like, you're sponsoring somebody and you think that they could benefit, you think they could benefit from, say this course is creating this advanced PvP course. And you just want to there you go. If you're sponsoring someone and you think that they would benefit from that course, then you should try and get them signed up and try and make sure that they go. Like that's why these things are here. And hopefully the role of the mentors in the sponsoring conversation, the role of the mentor really make your life easier as a sponsor. So if you want to sponsor somebody, but you don't want to put in all this time every day. You can, schedule them for a few classes so they can learn a few things, and then you can, and yeah, if that makes sense. I'm not making sense anymore. I'm sorry. I just realized I started rambling about 5 minutes ago. All right, Joe. So I think that's everything on that conversation.
Yeah, UTC thinking again. Hard to see, but
Yeah, sorry, I can hear the desync too. Nico, do you have anything to say about it?
About the new class, or
Yeah, new class.
yeah, just a few things. I want people to know it's different from the marksmanship training. It'll be more involved in bandit interactions. And Joe, I don't know if your thoughts have changed at all on this, but we initially talked about like the self-defense portion of it and more guard interactions with bandits.
right. Again, we'd be wanting together and run through it and kind of an outline of how it's all going to go together before we present to the group. Yeah, I think that's exactly correct.
Yeah.
More with the interaction itself. You got bandit how you deal with it. Yeah.
Well, I haven't had a lot of time to think about the classes and everything yet, but I'd like to.
No, I hear you. I understand.
I'd like to get other people's opinions on it and/or mentor opinions on the class. So just something to think about, really.
Nico, why don't you make a thread?
Well, that's what I was about to say too.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah. So detail your ideas for the class, and then leave it open to suggestions. And then once you feel like you have something, give Joe an outline, and then once you two put it together, we'll get it going.
Sounds good. I'll be sure to do that.
Awesome. And hey, definitely make sure to Insaniac. This is a great idea here. This handling friendly fire. Maybe that doesn't belong in this class, but that ought to be in something like maybe our introductory class to TMW, Joe.
Right. Sure.
Because to my knowledge, we don't handle friendly fire anywhere else, do we?
No. We hopefully it doesn't occur very often, but yeah, good point, and something we need to talk about. Yeah,
it occurs way more often than I think it ought to, it should, and so I think we really need to talk about it. That's a great idea. It's in
I've had my problems
purple
with
on
that.
purple, yeah, not a good thing. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna revoke power, and Hockey Guy, I'm gonna give you power. All right, Hockey Guy, what's going on with events?
Alright, so basically, there was going to be an event today, but we thought that it was going to be too much with the meeting here, and we had some mentor stuff also. But there will not be an event for a couple of weeks. I'm going to aim for the, let me pull my menu up, or my calendar up here. The 2nd of February, I have finals within the next 2 weeks that I really have to focus on. And, yeah, there'll definitely be an event as soon as I possibly can. But right now, I need to focus on my schoolwork.
Not a problem.
And,
So,
yeah, just really a quick update, that's all.
Awesome. And we're going to be doing things like birthdays in the future, maybe. I don't know, we're kind of feeling it out, right?
Yeah, we're still in the growing process, so to speak, I guess. We've only been doing this for, I don't know, a month and a half. We're still looking for ideas. If anyone has them, send me a message on the forum, send me a message in TeamSpeak. What is it with? That'll be introduced maybe later on. That idea is kind of, it would have to be smoothed out a lot. There's things that could, really, if you have an idea that is set, that you think would be a good idea, because it's kind of a, kind of an open idea, really, when it just comes to outpost stuff. I don't really know what you could mean by that, but if you do...
here, I'll answer the question.
Yeah, sure.
Sure. So, as Farrell's outpost team discovers locations, that and they create a shorter and shorter list of good candidates, essentially, they will give us that list. And once we have that list, one of the final ways that we test how well it can be defended or attacked is it will be a TMW event. And it'll basically be one team is the attackers and one team is the defenders. And we try it out in a couple of locations and we take notes. So it's fun for you guys, it's helpful for us.
Yeah, and with saying that, we recently, if anyone's been to the events, we have had, in between games, we've had little free-for-alls. And if we have a couple of spots on the map that are really good, usually we just, when we do the little free-for-alls, we usually have just a random spot on the map that everyone thinks is a good spot. But if we have these individual outposts, they could be used as a main event even. If there's something that could last like a couple of hours or something, we'd come up with an idea. But it could be like an event in between the main events with, like Doc was saying, one team offending and one defending. And yeah, that is a good idea, definitely. I'll look into it. We can talk about that more later if you want to.
Right, great.
That's all I got.
All right, provoking talk power. If you have event ideas for Hockey Guy, send them to him over the forums, or respond to his thread, or send him an email. Now, Doc is yes, I've been invited to participate in an early test for a standalone. So, what's next? Let's talk about rules of engagement, shall we? So, rules of engagement, the reason we're talking about this is because we're just having some confusion. I want you to know that as members of TMW, I trust you to have good judgment. Okay? So, 9 times out of 10, if there is a shooting and we talk about it, I'm going to take your side. And I'm going to say, yes, you were in the right. You did the right thing. Okay? Now, the times when I'm going to be like, are the times when you very simply shot first. Okay? Because if you're the one shooting first, then it means you're the aggressor. And TMW is a neutral organization. We are not the aggressors. Leave that to the bandits, and leave that to the heroes out there who are trying to rid the land of banditry. No, instead, we're just going to quietly rebuild society. So, look, we're not bandit hunters, okay? That's why our ROE is not, if they're wearing a ghillie suit, shoot them in the head, when it's not, am I gonna come down on you if you kill a bandit? No, I really don't care if you kill a bandit. But at the end of the day, the ROE should always be, don't shoot first. If you're being shot at, please take revenge and defend yourself. Right. Don't ever assume somebody is a bandit. But if you're shot at, defend yourself. Seriously, defend yourself, Who is it? Somebody was telling me a story the other day about they were shot, which is a very, very interesting thing to happen. And he said he put him down, and I was like, good, he shot at you. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, as long as we're not shooting first, I think I'll be okay with it. Joe, please remind me one day when to stick my foot in my mouth when somehow this comes back to bite me in the ass, okay? Definitely. Okay, so yeah, firing on people within TMW, like, that's a bannable offense. It is a bannable offense. I understand some people are just doing it as a joke, but if you want to work out that kind of energy and you want to open fire on TMW people, do that during events. Who was it? Heinrich, you ran over me with a car in the last one? Yeah, you can work out all the aggression you need to work out. Anyway, that's what I'm saying is, please don't be shooting at each other, because I will get involved if I start hearing more about that. And somebody once described my getting involved as lightning and fire. What was it? Wasn't that what they said? I can't even remember. It's on the old forums somewhere. Yeah, as long as we're not shooting first, I'll be happy. Let's see. Talked about ROE. Oh, I'm sorry. I'd like to talk about one last thing, and the reason why I said it, guys. I think it is a great thing if TMW were to become known as being exceptionally good with those farm grade weapons. CZ550, Winchester, double barrel, Lee Enfield, that kind of thing. So in any depiction of TMW from here on out, I would like to see those weapons be the one that people are carrying. You can totally use whatever weapons you want, okay? You can totally use whatever weapons you want. I'm just saying, I encourage you to pick up a Winchester if it's been a long time. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Because we do have, I know for a fact that Not So Ninja is a crack shot with the Lee Enfield. He's a really, really good shot, and that's part of what the marksmanship training will be. Yeah, I just think using farm guns is a good. The real reason I talk about it, guys, is because it's just a good way to brand TMW. Like it just really, really fits in with our image. It really fits well, I think. So I encourage you to use farm guns. Now, let's see. So we still don't know when Daisy Standalone is going to come out, guys. Everything that we're doing right now is in preparation for that. I can tell you right now that TMW is going to start sort of aggressively advertising, and we're going to start letting people know that we're here and that we do our job well. And I want you guys to simply back us up. Basically, I'm going to be doing a lot of I am going to be doing a little bit of interviewing and stuff like that, and I'm going to be talking about TMW and stuff like that. And I just want you guys to, be able to back that up. One thing I can tell you that I'm working on is I'm talking to. Okay, so let me just look at it here. I'm talking to Frankie on PC in 1080p on Skype about possibly doing a video together. So this is what we're talking about, trying to get TMW, trying to make people aware of TMW that might not be already aware. Okay, so let's see. If you are interested in joining recruitment, Farrell's team, let's see what else. The event staff, if you want to work with Hockey Guy, if you want any of those jobs, talk to the people you need to talk to. And we'll just give everyone talk power. And if you want to talk to me about anything, you can jump into my office if no one else is in there. Okay? Thank you, guys. Oh, okay. The beta test, I'll just be very, very honest and clear with you right now. I had one invite to give out, and I gave it to Joe Shaw. So, I felt like he deserved it. Yeah, well, honestly, the real reason was because they told me, give it to somebody that has done a lot for the community that we might not know about, and Joe's name was the first one that came up. So, in my mind. So, please do not go passing that around, by the way. I'm really not supposed to talk about it, but since I was asked directly, I decided to tell you guys the truth and not lie, but, you know, we don't need to talk about it a lot, okay? So, yeah. All right. Talk power. Here we go.
Talk power granted. User left your channel.
Oh, he's just gone.
Hello.
Guys, I'm going to jump up to the to train 1. If anybody has any interest in the mentor aspect of this, join me there.
Same with the event stuff. If you got questions, I'm gonna hop up to a. I'll go to open channel 10. You got questions about
User
events
left
or
your
want to join
channel.
me? Come on up there.
User left your channel.
Farah?
User left your